What's up, guys? I'm Shane, and welcome to something a little bit different. We're not actually playing a game right now. I guess you can lump this in with the Illegal Shift podcast that I was thinking about bringing back a while back. Usually every year, I'm more of an NFL fan than a college football fan, so usually every year, I like to go on Twitter and post what I think my picks are going to be for who's going to win in divisions and stuff like that. But I figure it'd be better if I just put it up here on YouTube. So this way you guys will have an easier time finding it when I'm completely wrong about everyone. This will be a quicker video. We're not going to be sitting here for an hour and a half, hopefully. So let's just run through it. These are just going to be real quick. I do have records down. I did add it up. It does equal 272. I actually got it right the first shot. I usually am off by like 10, 15 wins, and I managed to get exactly 272 the first time. So at least I got that part right. But we'll start in the AFC. We'll start with the East. I got the Bills winning that division 12-5. They actually will be the number 2 seed in the AFC with that record. I don't think Josh Allen's going to regress that much. And I think the defense is going to be a lot better because if Greg Rousseau can look anything like he has in the preseason, like if that defensive line can be like an awesome set of pass rushers, or at least like a good set of pass rushers, that's going to transform the defense and make them even scarier. But they have a tough part of the first part of the schedule. That's why I won't give them like a perfect record like that. Plus, I'm a pessimistic Bills fan. I can't go any higher than 12. Second place, I'll have the Patriots. They'll be taking home the 6th seed, but they're going to be 10-7. I'm glad they're committed to Mac Jones for the season. I'm not sure if that's going to work as well as some people think, but I do believe in the defense. I believe in the people coming back from opting out last season. I think they'll be good enough on defense to carry what'll probably be like a decent to good offense. The weapons still aren't the best outside of the 2 tight ends they added, but it's the Patriots. I'm sure they'll scheme something up. I mean, last year was a bad year for them. They went 7-9. Third place is the Dolphins. I got them 9-8. I'm just not sold on Tua yet. I'm not giving up on him completely. I'm just not sure that he's there yet. I know last year was kind of a lost season because of the injury and everything like that, but I'm not sure. There's a lot of other good pieces in place, but I'm not sure that they're going to be that great this year. I could be wrong. And in last place, I got the Jets, but I got them at 6-11. They're not going to be the worst team in football. They'll be somewhere, in that 20 to 25 range. I think this is a team building for the future. I'm not sure what to make of Zach Wilson. I'm hoping for good things for him, but I don't think the team has done enough to be good this year. Moving over to the AFC North, I got the Browns taking this division, but I have them and the Ravens both at 11-6. I think Baker Mayfield is good, but I don't think he's great. But I think that offense is very well put together. I think that defense has some very scary monsters if it all works the way it should. And even if Baker Mayfield is sort of hot and cold like he has been, I think that team is still talented enough. I don't even care about Odell Beckham at this point. Like, whether he does something or not, who cares? They made the playoffs and won a playoff game without him. Almost beat the Chiefs in the semifinals. So, Odell Beckham's not a factor. The Ravens, I mean, it's just that they're trying to improve the pass game, and I don't know if it's going to work because their first-round pick's already injured. He's out. They're leaning on Sammy Watkins to be an answer. I don't know. I like Lamar Jackson, though. I think he got a bad rap. He was worse last year than his MVP season, but he still was a top, what? You can't argue he was out of a top 10 quarterback. You can make a good argument he was still a top 5 quarterback. So I think Lamar Jackson is still going to be fine. I think this offense will be fine. It's the Ravens. Their defense will always be good. And this team will take home the 5 seed, and they'll make some noise in the playoffs, I'm sure. Third place, I got the Steelers at 8-9. I don't know. Mike Tomlin's a really, really good coach. Like, he'll be in the Hall of Fame one day, I'm pretty sure. But this team, it's just like all over the place. The defense is good. TJ Watt is young, but then Ben Roethlisberger is going to be limping back out here. I think I can throw the ball farther than him at this point. Unless he was really, really injured last year and he was hiding something, I don't think he's going to do that great. But 8-9 is still respectable, floating around that 500 mark. Last place will be the Bengals. I don't think Zach Taylor is a good coach. I don't think he's a good coach at all. What Joe Burrow does this season, it doesn't matter because I still think he's talented. He's coming off a really, really bad injury. He showed flashes last year. Hopefully he shows them this year, but hopefully he gets to stay upright enough to do it. Hopefully the weapons don't let him down. But man, that head coach is that. I think Zach Taylor might be the worst head coach. No, wait, we'll be coming up. He's the second worst coach in the NFL. We're coming up to who I think is the worst. Because we're going down to the AFC South, and I have the Titans taking this division at 9-8. I just think that defense is going to take a step back. I mean, Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill's good. I'm not going to sit here and be like, his numbers are definitely a little inflated because of the style of offense they play, but he still executes what they ask of him. You can't ask any more than that. Is he the number 2 quarterback in the NFL? No. Is he a top 10 quarterback? He's floating around that range. I'm not going to sit here and have that debate right now. He's a very, very good quarterback. He's deserving of the money they gave him. And hopefully, even losing Arthur Smith, that offense is still pretty good. I'm just not, I don't have any faith in that defense, which is sad considering it's Mike Vrabel as a head coach. And for some reason, he never has a good defense. Second place, I have the Colts at 8-9. I don't know. This team seems cursed already. They seem cursed already, and who even knows with Carson Wentz? There's so much unknowns. I'm just sort of throwing my hands up. There's so much talent on this roster, and if Andrew Luck was still here, they'd probably be a Super Bowl contender, but right now, I don't know. I don't even have them making the playoffs this year. I could be wrong. Carson Wentz could turn it around, and they could win the division and run away with it, but I'm not putting faith in that. Third place, here comes the worst coach in the NFL, Urban Meyer and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got them at 5-12. I don't think Urban knows what he's doing. I didn't think John Gruden knew what he was doing, but at least he formulated a good game plan. I don't know what Urban Meyer's plan is. Again, the big one is you're going to split time, giving first-team reps to Gardner Minshew, splitting them between that and Lawrence, name Lawrence the starter, and then trade Minshew. Why? What sense does that make? I don't think it's going to go well. I just don't think it. But I think Trevor Lawrence is good enough to find a way to will them to 5 wins. There's a couple weapons on this team I like. Chenault. Why am I Laviska? I'm blanking on his first name. The team will be decent. I don't think Urban's going to tank them. It's not going to be on-field performance that suffers, but I think off the field, he'll be a Fox commentator again within the next 2 years, I'm sure. But coming up dead last is going to be the Texans at 3-14. Now, I'll give this team props for not starting Deshaun Watson because you can't. You just can't. Again, we'll let the legal system play through, but you can't. You can't have him on the field. And I love Tyrod Taylor. I will always have a soft spot for him. He's the one who broke the streak, the 18-year drought of no playoffs for the Bills. He was our quarterback. I will always love him for that. But man, they dumped him in a crap situation. Oh man, is that bad. They got to fix what Bill O'Brien did. So, they're going to be 3-14. They're going to be the worst team in the NFL, I think. But at least they did one right thing. And I feel so bad for that head coach who they brought in. I don't even remember his name now. And there's no reason to, because it seems like they're just going to have him keep the seat warm for a year or two and then have Josh McCown be the head coach. It just seems like that's where it's going. So I'm sorry, bud. I wish you well. Moving on over to the AFC West, I got the Chiefs winning that division. Number 1 overall seed, 14-3. The offensive line is retooled. Let's hope it helps. Patrick Mahomes is the greatest football player on the planet. You can make an argument for Aaron Donald, but I saw Patrick Mahomes go throw a pass in the Super Bowl parallel to the ground. He was in midair, parallel to the ground, threw the pass accurately, and they dropped it. That's just that's inhuman kind of stuff. That team's going to be good. You know it's going to be good. Let's just see if they're good enough to get back to the Super Bowl for a third straight time. Second place in the division and taking that last wild card spot. I'm giving it to the Chargers. I was wrong on Justin Herbert. I really wanted the Dolphins to draft him because I thought he would be a bust, and I didn't want the Dolphins to be good, and I was completely wrong. And maybe this is a year where they're not cursed. They have the talent everywhere. If Derwin James can stay healthy, I think he can be a difference maker. I think Brandon Staley can really do some cool stuff with that defense. And Herbert, the arm talent, you don't... we don't have to question anything about that. It's just keeping him on pace. So I really have higher hopes for the Chargers. They're just in a pretty tough division. Not the worst one, but it's pretty rough for them. So I think they'll drop a couple games here and there just because it'll be so competitive. But I do like them to make the playoffs. Third place in that division, I'm giving it to the Broncos, and they're only getting that because they started Teddy Bridgewater. I think if it was Drew Lock, I would probably have them in last place. I got them at 9-8. I think Teddy's going to be stabilizing. You put Teddy Bridgewater in, you're going to be a, above average to average team. I'm very happy for Teddy Bridgewater. Anyone who goes through that injury, him, Alex Smith, Mackenzie Milton over in college football, got a couple drives with Florida State. Very happy for them to be back on the field, not have their leg amputated, not be dead, Very nice stories for them. I'm rooting for him. I have nothing against Teddy Bridgewater, but I don't think he's more than a top 17 quarterback, on his best days. Now, that's good enough to win, and this defense is really good. And if they had Aaron Rodgers dropped in here, if that trade had come through, they'd be my Super Bowl pick. But I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is going to be enough to get him over the hump, but he'll keep them competitive, and he'll keep them vying for that final wild card spot. Last place, I got the Raiders. I don't even know. They're kind of the meme team, but they're good enough because Derek Carr is quietly still a good quarterback. People dump on him like he's Kirk Cousins, but he's actually really good. And I don't know why. Like, I don't understand why John Gruden hates Derek Carr so much but loves Nathan Peterman. It makes no sense to me. It makes none. So this team's just going to float around, be good enough to be competing for a wild card spot until like week 13 and completely be out of the top 10 for the picks. So my seeding in the AFC, I got 1, the Chiefs, 2, the Bills, 3, the Browns, 4, the Titans, 5 is going to be the Ravens, 6, the Patriots, and 7, the Chargers. We'll go through that afterwards, but let's jump over to the NFC. So in the NFC, we're going to call it the NFC least. That's what it is again this year. I have the Washington football team above 500, but they win the division at 9-8. Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be a considerably better quarterback than whoever they had last season, and that's even when he's throwing those 4 interceptions in a game. Like, he'll still be better than what they were trotting out in the field last season. The defense is really good. There's some interesting weapons, and I just want to see Ryan Fitzpatrick make the playoffs once. He's never made the playoffs. I just want to see him make it once. He deserves that. Second place, I got the Cowboys. Speaking of coaches who are just not very good at their job, Mike McCarthy fooled us all, huh? I don't know if Dak's not healthy, that really hurts them. If Zeke's not back to 100%, that hurts them too. The defense, I mean, they brought in Dan Quinn just to try and be like the 25th best defense. That's how bad it is for them. That offense is going to be really scary, though. Wasn't Dak on pace for like 6,000 yards last year before he got hurt? Like, that offense will put up some points, but they'll put up 35 and give up 45, and that'll be the problem. Third place, I've actually got a tie here. Eagles and Giants, I both got at 7 and 10 for different reasons. The Eagles, I still think there's talent on this team. I don't know what to make of Jalen Hurts yet. I like Devonta Smith. I'm glad they grabbed him at wide receiver. And I think if they made the playoffs, if they even won the division, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, everyone thinks that they're just going to be terrible. There's still some pieces here. They're not going to win the Super Bowl this year, but there's still some pieces, and there's no reason to give up on them. I just think 7 and 10, just chalking it up to who knows what's going on with Jalen Hurts. And in the Giants, kind of the same thing. Really good defense. I like their head coach and Joe Judge, but Daniel Jones is their quarterback, and Saquon Barkley, apparently he's going to play week 1, but he's coming off a devastating injury. He's great when he's on the field. The Giants just, oof, that's going to be rough. I think all of their offensive weapons are hurt right now. And I'm sorry, I am not a Daniel Jones believer. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I am not. I have not been since day one. Moving over to the NFC North, this one's a little more predictable, but I got the Packers taking the division. They're only going to be the 3 seed, though. I got them at 11 and 6. They're really good. They're really good. And I know 11, that's going to take them down a few wins from last season. And why do they deserve that? I just think the rest of the NFC is tougher. And I just think they're going to drop a couple more games. It's basically if you get over, like once you're into double-digit wins, the difference between like 11 and 14 is like 3 field goals. So they could just go a different way. That's all. I think the Packers are still going to be really good. I still think Aaron Rodgers is one of the 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in the NFL on a worse day. So I'm not dismissing them at all with this 11 wins. I just think it's going to be tough. They're going to be really good. And when I was in middle school, the Packers were kind of my team because Brett Favre was my favorite player. That didn't age well, but he was. So seeing them have success and make it to a Super Bowl, I wouldn't be mad about it. I just don't think that's going to happen this year. Next up, I got the Vikings at 8 and 9. This poor team. I think Mike Zimmer is a pretty good coach. And I think Kirk Cousins is a serviceable enough quarterback to get you over the hump, but it's falling apart in a hurry. I don't think they're going to fall completely apart and be like one of the worst 5 teams in the NFL, but I could see that happening. I could also see them getting a wild card spot. But I think they're just going to be middling this season, which is probably the worst place to be. Although, you look at that, 8-9 is pretty bad. 7-10 for some reason is going to sound a lot better for the Bears. Now, they made the playoffs last year. I got them worse, but I've only got them worse because Now, I've only got the Bears worse than last season because I feel like they're going to trot out Andy Dalton for like 5 games. Once they get Justin Fields in there, they'll do a lot better. I think if they started Justin Fields from day one, I think they would have an outside shot at the playoffs because you got Allen Robinson, you've got some good pieces on defense. The running backs are interesting and playmakers. Tariq Cohen could always bust one open for 80 yards out of nowhere. So I think the Bears could be decent, but not if they're trying. Andy Dalton, I love you. You're the one who threw the pass that got the Bills to the playoffs. I would love for Andy Dalton to be my backup quarterback, but as the starter for Chicago, I don't know. He's a good dude, but just no, not when Justin Fields is on a bench. Just put Fields out there. And in last place, I got the Lions. I actually kind of like Dan Campbell as a coach. I know it's joke-worthy, but I think it's working with his players, and I think he's genuine. I think he's genuine, and he hasn't done anything like disrespectful. It's just like biting kneecaps and stuff like that just sounds silly, but I think the players are going to play well for him. I got him at 5-12. That's not the best, but they got Jared Goff at quarterback, and I think he's actually going to get them a couple more wins than if they just had some scrub. I actually kind of would be interested to see this team with Matt Stafford still on the team. I'm glad for him. I've got him doing well over in Los Angeles, but I kind of want to know if they can make the playoffs with him at quarterback. But I still think, 5-12, it's a bad record, but they're rebuilding, and I think that's respectable enough. NFC South, I got the Bucs winning the division. I got them at 14-3. They're just going to torch everyone. They're returning everyone from last year, and they got better down the stretch once they sort of got in sync. Now they got a full offseason. Everyone's returning. If Tom Brady doesn't regress, and I have no reason to believe that he will, and everyone stays healthy like they did last year, they should repeat if that happens. I don't think they're going to get as lucky with injuries, though, so I don't have them repeating as a slight spoiler for later, but they're still going to be great. They're still going to be great, and if they do stay healthy, like I said, they should win the Super Bowl again. Second place, I got the Falcons, and I actually got them taking the 7 seed. I got them at 9-8. I think they needed a new sort of head coach. I like what Arthur Smith did over in Tennessee. I don't think they're going to have quite as strong a running game because they don't really have the running back for that. But I still think Matt Ryan's a good quarterback. He won an MVP. Like, if you put him on a different team, he could be a Hall of Famer. I don't know that he will be, but he's still been a really consistent, good quarterback outside of fantasy numbers. Like, ignore fantasy numbers. It ruins your perception of football. He's been pretty good. Like, at worst, he's been pretty good and really good more than not. So I just think they're going to compete because I got the Saints going to 7-10. This roster is not loaded anymore. They're still very top heavy. They've got some great talent. I don't know what the hell is going on with Michael Thomas. That seems like a cancerous situation, and I'm not sure who's to blame. It seems like it's the Saints' fault, but I don't know Michael Thomas well enough to know if that's actually him. I have no idea. That's just, ugh. But the problem is your quarterback is Jameis Winston, and the last time we saw him, he threw as many interceptions as he threw touchdowns. Everyone says, he threw 30 touchdowns, and he had 5,000 yards, and he threw 30 picks, and he had a bunch of fumbles. And he has not shown that he can make good decisions, and he ate the W. And I could be wrong. If anyone's going to turn his career around, it's going to be Sean Payton. But I have no faith whatsoever. He left Tampa Bay. They won a Super Bowl immediately. So you're losing Drew Brees. I know it was a very diminished version of him, and you're going to go with Jameis Winston on a team that's very thin, so a couple injuries and they could go downhill fast. I got him at 7-10 just because I got respect for the head coach, but they're like 1 or 2 injuries from really tanking and going for one of the top quarterbacks in next year's draft. But dead last in the division, I got the Panthers at 6-11. I still like Matt Rule. I'm glad to see Christian McCaffrey because I love running backs. I don't know what to make of Sam Darnold. Is he going to get the bump because he's away from Gase, or was he actually terrible and Gase did all he could? I don't know. I don't think Gase is at all a good coach, and he should never be in the NFL ever again. He should go coach a high school or college somewhere where his name kind of means something, but I don't think he's got it. I don't even want him as a coordinator anywhere at this point because he just seems like he just makes players hate him. So I don't know what to do with Sam Darnold, but I don't have faith that he's going to be anything better than like a middling quarterback now. It could turn around, but I have no reason to believe it will. And jumping over to the NFC West, I got the Rams winning the division. This is going to be a tight race, though. I got the Rams at 11-6. I got the Seahawks at 11-6, and I got the 49ers at 10-7. The Rams, that defense could regress and still be the best defense in the NFL because they were the best in the NFL last season by a wide margin, and Aaron Donald scares the living hell out of me. He might be one of the 20 or 25 best players of all time. Not defensive, just players of all time already, and he's only 7 seasons in. So that defense will probably still be good because Jalen Ramsey's nothing to sneeze at either. He's definitely the top cornerback in the NFL. And I don't know that Matt Stafford's going to make them the greatest show on turf, but I think Matt Stafford is better than Jared Goff, and they've still got some really good weapons, and Sean McVay is still a very smart coach. So 11-6, but again, this is another one where the division's going to be really tough, and they're just going to sort of beat up on each other and take away wins. Because otherwise, I think the Rams might be one of the best teams in the NFL if everything goes the way it should go. The Seahawks, 11-6, they're just really good. Russell Wilson's really good. I love him. He's like the best case scenario of what Doug Flutie could have been, so that's just sort of my soft spot for everything comes back to the Bills. It always comes back to the Bills. So I think the Seahawks will still be in competition because the defense was bad last year, and maybe they'll be better this year, and the offense could be good, and you just never know. Or the Seahawks could fall off a cliff and go like 6-11, and Russell Wilson gets traded to like, I don't know, the Broncos next season. And I got the 49ers. So Seahawks would be the 5 seed, 49ers with the 6 seed. I got them at 10-7. I don't know, because again, Kyle Shanahan's a good coach. I don't want to anoint him as like the smartest offensive genius in the NFL, but it seems like it's going that way. Like I still think McVay is really, really good. But definitely you can't ignore what Shanahan has done through the NFL. I'm curious to see what it looks like with Trey Lance. But the problem is Jimmy G has shown that he's just sort of like an average quarterback. And Trey Lance has shown flashes, but I don't know that he's 100% ready. I think he will be. I think Trey Lance will be very good. And I wanted him to be drafted by the 49ers. Like, that's the quarterback I wanted them to get when they traded up for that pick. So I'm glad for that. I think he'll be fine eventually. I just don't know if it's going to be this season. And again, tough division. But then dead last, I got the Cardinals at 5-12, and I think this will be the end of Cliff Kingsbury. People have Kyler Murray as like an MVP candidate, and it's just like, I like Kyler Murray. I like DeAndre Hopkins, except for what they did to the Bills last season. But I don't like Cliff Kingsbury as a coach. He was incompetent at Texas Tech. He couldn't hack it at Texas Tech. Not even a big college. Like, I mean, yeah, a Power 5 college, but not like Texas Tech does not have the same expectations as like Texas and Oklahoma. So, I think this will be the end of Cliff. So I'm really hoping that if that's the end of it, they bring in someone who knows what he's doing. I'm willing to let Brian Dable go to Arizona to help Kyler Murray out. But I don't think it's going to be this season. Not with that division, and not with Cliff just having no clue. So, to recap that, so I got the Bucs as the 1 seed, the Rams as a 2 seed, Packers at 3, the football team at 4, Seahawks, 49ers 5-6, and then the Falcons sneaking in as the 7 seed. Now in the playoffs, going to the AFC, I got the Ravens taking down the Titans. Not a lot of upsets here, really. I got the Browns over the Patriots. Again, I like what the Patriots did, but I really like the Browns overall. Same thing, Titans, I just don't think that defense is very good. They're just going to get in because their division's terrible. And then the Bills, I got them taking out the Chargers. It's going to get very homerific really soon. In the NFC, I got the Seahawks taking out the football team. Again, great story. You made the playoffs. That'll be about it for you. 49ers over the Packers, though. I think that's my biggest upset. There's something about the Packers. A lot of people are picking them to win the Super Bowl. Something is making me uneasy. Like, Aaron Rodgers is really good. And I know they're trying to put out this whole Last Dance thing with him and Devontae Adams, but I don't know. There's something about the Packers that seems off, and I don't think they're gonna do it this year. They could, but something seems off there. I'm just going with a gut feeling here. And then I got the Rams taking care of the Falcons. That should be a piece of cake. In the divisional round, I got the Chiefs taking out the Ravens. No problem. I got the Bills over the Browns. That should be a really good game. That's something I wish we had gotten in the conference championship last year. And in the NFC, I got the Bucs taking out the Seahawks and the Rams over the 49ers. Again, we've already listed all these reasons. In the championship game, I got the Bills over the Chiefs. I'm mostly rooting for it, but I also think they did enough with that defensive line to really bother Patrick Mahomes. And if that offensive line, they put a lot of resources into it, but if it doesn't come together the way they think, then I think the Bills can take care of them. Because I think the Super Bowl showed a lot of people what you can do to the Chiefs to sort of slow them down. And in the NFC, I got the Rams over the Bucs. I think the Bucs get worn down. I don't think they're going to get as lucky with injuries. I think they're still really good. There's a couple of weak spots on the roster as far as depth goes. Obviously, the starting 22 is going to be solid no matter what, but I think the Rams will do enough to take them out. But in the Super Bowl, let's go homerism. I got the Bills 35, Rams 28, Josh Allen with the MVP. And if that happens, if the Bills win the Super Bowl, you might never see me again. I will be running through the streets. I'm in Florida. I'm about 2,200 miles from Buffalo, and I will probably make it there on foot. I'll just be running that whole way if that's what actually happens. So if I'm doing picks, I might as well pick what I want to root for anyway. So if you really ask me who I thought would win the Super Bowl, I think it would be the Bucs. If you really thought who I think at best case scenario, I think it's the Bucs are the best team, and then I think it's the Rams and Chiefs somewhere there, and then Buffalo and the Packers a tier below. But like I said, something is off with Green Bay outside of the Aaron Rodgers stuff. It just seems like it's going to be one of those years. And then the Bucs, they just got really, really lucky with health. It's hard to repeat. Tom Brady's only done it once, so I think that part. Did he do it twice? Shoot, did Tom Brady do it twice? No, I can't remember. It's just really tough to do that kind of stuff. And the Chiefs, they're just, I don't know. Patrick Mahomes can do anything. Patrick Mahomes could throw for 7,000 yards this year and 100 touchdowns, and no one would be surprised. So it's just tough. But I think those teams are pretty close. And, obviously the Rams as well. Just, again, Matt Stafford, best case scenario, he turns into an MVP candidate. Worst case scenario, he can't be worse than Jared Goff was. But yeah, those are my season picks. I have the Bills taking the whole thing, and I am prepared to be disappointed because how's that any different than the last 25 years? I'm just hoping I'm wrong. But that'll wrap it up for this one. What do you guys think is going to happen? Who are your picks for the Super Bowl, MVP, all that kind of stuff? Let me know down in the comment section below. But that will wrap this one up for me. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you like this video, please be sure to hit like down below. If you want to see more from me, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to get it delivered directly to your inbox every single time I upload. Again, leave your comments down below, all of your predictions. Everything you leave down there, I'll always respond to unless you are the trolliest of trolls. Thank you guys for listening. I'm Shane. I'm out.